Hello, I'm Waffles Are Better. In this video I'll be showing you how to add custom structures like the one behind me into Minecraft Java Edition 1.16 and 1.17. Of course, if you're watching this and there is a later Minecraft version, this probably still works, but if it does not, there will be a pinned comment in the comments with a link to a video that tells you how to do this in the new latest version. This doesn't go into more complicated things like custom villages yet, but I will definitely do that in the future, and you'll need to know the stuff in this video to be able to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create a new super flat world. So I'm going to make it super flat and maybe also, I don't know, give it like 50 blocks of dirt just in case. Then for game rules, I'm just going to go down to spawning and turn off all the spawning and turn all of this off. So I've gone and gotten myself a pillager tower. And if you don't know where to find the structure, all you have to do is, as I showed in an earlier video, extract the version file from your Minecraft files, and then go to data Minecraft structures, and there you will find all of the vanilla structures and their file locations. So I'm just going to mess around with this a bit until I have the structure I want. And this will just be a placeholder. I'll probably remake structures in the future. So I've gone ahead and changed all of the blocks in this structure to be more relevant to the frost. Again, this is probably just a placeholder structure and won't be used in the future. Also, this barrel here doesn't have any loot in it yet, but I will add that later. I might keep a structure like this in the frost, but if I do, I'm going to change it around a lot. So then the next thing you need to do is /give yourself a structure block. Believe this is the right spot. You're going to want to go to save mode, and then you're going to want to just name it whatever you want your structure to be named. So I guess I'm going to call mine Frost Outpost, and then change the structure size to the size of your structure. So I didn't actually look at how big this was, so I'm just going to make it 20 by 20 by 20, and the maximum you can have is 40 by 40 by 40, I believe. So I'm going to click on save. Oh, I put it in the wrong corner. Alright, I made it too big in this direction and too big in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it should be 15 by 15 by maybe like 23. So 15 by 15 by 23, I believe. Yeah, this looks good to me. Just make sure it's saved. So next you're going to want to go back to your data pack, and inside of data and your namespace, you're going to want to create a new folder called structures. And then in structures, you should probably create a subfolder. I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Outpost, I guess. Maybe Frost Outpost. So then what I'm going to do is go back to my world, and then click Edit, Open World folder, and then go to Generated Minecraft Structures, and then that is the structure I just saved. Going back to my data pack, I can then go to Data, Frost, Structures, Frost Outpost. Then I'm going to drag this into here, and I'm going to rename it to Tower. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm also going to repaste it back into my world, so if I ever want to edit it again, I can load it in back in my world. And so now what I've got is a actual structure that I can then make generate in my world. So to actually make the structure generate, you want to go into worldgen and create a new folder called template_pool. And then in this folder, you're probably going to want to create another folder and maybe just name this the name of your structure. So I'm just going to name mine Frost Outpost, and then in here I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this tower.json. So then in here you're going to want to create a curly bracket and then drop down, and then in quotation marks name, then a colon, and then this is going to be the file location of this file you just made. So that would be your namespace, which is this folder. So for me, that is Frost, and then the folder that this file is in. So that would be the folder right inside template pool. So this is frost outpost, oops, and then the name of this file, so tower. And then, oops, I forgot to put a comma. Okay, and then you're going to want in quotation marks, fallback, and then for this you're probably just going to want to put Minecraft empty. And what this does is basically, if for some reason it can't generate the structure, it will just generate an empty structure and it won't generate anything. And then in quotation marks, you're going to want to put elements, and then a colon and some square brackets. So then inside of these square brackets, you're going to want to put some curly brackets, and in here is going to be basically just the element, which is the structure that is going to generate. So first you need to put weight, and just leave this at 1 for now. If you want to get more complicated and have several variations that you can have for structures, then you could make the weights for them different. Basically, this weight determines how likely that structure is to spawn. So if I had like 5 different elements and 4 of them had a weight of 1, those would be all equally likely. And then if another one had a weight of 5, that one would be 5 times more likely to generate than the others. And so then you want to put element and a colon and curly brackets, and then open those. So the first thing you're going to want is to type projection and then a colon, and then you can put rigid to generate it just like regular, like a house, or if you do terrain underscore matching, this will make it so the height of the structure itself varies over the terrain. So like how village streets can go like up and down, but if you generate a village house, it won't go up and down with the land. So basically, you're definitely going to want rigid unless you're making streets. And then next you're going to want to put element underscore type. And what you put in here depends on what you want your structure to be. So if you put empty underscore pool underscore element, then it won't generate anything at all and it'll just be empty. And that's probably not what you want. Then if you put feature underscore pool underscore element, this will allow you to generate a feature. Like, for example, you could generate a tree or a flower patch. So, for example, say I wanted my structure to just be a single oak tree, then I would add a comma, and then you type feature, and then a colon, and then I would type in Minecraft oak. And this would just generate a single oak tree as my structure. But of course, that's not what I want. You can also type in single underscore pool underscore element. So if you put Minecraft single pool element, that is probably what you want. And basically, it just generates, exactly what you would think. So if I put this and then tell it to generate my structure. And there's also legacy underscore single pool element. And this is exactly the same thing as single pool element, except if you want your structure to load in but leave any blocks that were previously existing, then you should use legacy single pool element. But if you want to replace blocks that were already existing with any error that's in your structure, then you just want to use single pool element. So I think I'm going to use legacy underscore single pool element. So if you are using either single pool element or legacy single pool element, you're then going to want to put location and then a colon. This is just going to be the location of the actual structure file. So for me, that is the name of this folder, which is frost, and then the name of the folder which your structure is in, frost outpost for me, and then the actual name of the structure file itself, which is for me tower. And so this will make it so whenever this structure generates, it will generate this this structure file. And then the very last thing you need is processors, and I will go over these later. For now, I'm just going to leave it as Minecraft empty. Basically, what processors are are they will replace specific blocks in a structure with different blocks. So for example, if you look at the bastion, a bunch of the blocks in bastions are replaced by either cracked versions or air because it's like falling apart and stuff. And so that's what a processor would do. It would target some of the blackstone in bastions and replace it with either cracked blackstone or air. And the same thing goes for village streets. It replaces some of the dirt paths with grass. But I'm not going to go into that right now. I'll go into that later probably. You might have noticed that I did not go into the list pool element, and that is because basically what it will do is allow you to create a list of different elements inside of one element. The only use in the actual game I found was for the Pillager Outpost Tower, and I think the reason it uses it is just to organize it a little bit better. So I think it's in case you wanted to add another type of tower to the Pillager Outpost. Because as you can see, basically what they've done here is they've got one element for this whole thing, and then inside of that they've got two different elements. So this would be the same thing as creating two elements with a weight of 1. Instead, they've put two different elements because that way you can easily add another group of two elements. So again, if you want this to have a chance to generate a second structure instead of this first structure, like how the village houses generate random village houses, you can just copy all of this and add a comma and paste it, and then just change this location to the file location of your other structure. And then you can change the weight. So for example, if I put a weight of 5 here, then this structure would be a lot more likely to generate than this structure. But I'm not going to include that. I'm just going to leave mine like this. And then there's just one last thing you have to do. You have to go to worldgen and create a new folder and call this configured structure feature. And then in here, you're going to want to create a new file and just call this the name of your structure. So I'm going to call this frost outpost. Oh, I forgot to add a .json at the end, oops. So in here you're going to want to open some curly brackets and then type config in quotation marks and another curly brackets. So the first thing you're going to want to do is type in quotation marks start underscore pool, and then basically this is just going to be the location of this template pool right here. So that's going to be the name of your main folder, so frost for me, and then frost outpost, and then tower. And then you're going to want a comma after that, and in here you're going to want to type size, and this is a number between 1 and 7, and it basically determines how many of your jigsaw blocks it's going to generate. And I haven't gone over jigsaw blocks yet, I'll do that in a later video, but since there aren't any jigsaw blocks in this structure, you're going to want to just put 7, because that's just the maximum and there's no reason why you shouldn't put it. And so after this first curly bracket, but before the second, you're going to want to put a comma, and in here you're going to put type, and this can be one of 3 things. You can put Minecraft, and then pillager underscore outpost, or it can be Minecraft village, or it can be Minecraft bastion underscore remnant. And so the one you're actually going to want to put is village. So even though it isn't a village, you're going to want the type to be village. And this is because the way bastions generate, they're always, I believe, at about Y32. So in the overworld, this would generate in the ground. And villages and pillager outposts both need skylight above them, so they'll always generate on the surface. And pillager outposts will spawn pillagers around them. Village will just generate on the surface and won't spawn anything weird around it. But actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to change mine to pillager outpost, because since it is an outpost, I might as well let pillagers spawn around it. So then this means that how often that this structure generates is going to be determined by the noise settings. So if you go down to pillager outpost, if you change these numbers around, it will then change how often this generates. So the last thing you need to do is actually make it generate in your biome. So to do that, you're going to want to go to your biome file and then just add it to starts. So I'm going to replace pillager outposts with my new frost outpost. So to do that, I'm going to put the name of the main folder. So for me, that is frost. And then the name of your structure. So that is in configured structure feature. So frost underscore outpost is the name of the structure. And of course, you could also put Minecraft pillager outpost, and this would just generate pillager outposts half the time and frost outposts half the time. So now it's time to test it out. I'm going to create a single biome world that has the icy waste biome, because that's the only biome that I currently have that has the frost outpost in it. So then all I have to do is do /locate pillager outpost, and this will be village if you put village as your structure type in your configured structure feature file. But I'm looking for a pillager outpost because that's the type that I put it as. So let me see, did it generate? Yes, it did. So I think pillagers should be spawning around this, because I did make it a pillager outpost, and according to the game, that does mean that pillagers will spawn around it. Alright, I'm not seeing any pillagers for some reason, but they should be spawning here. I'm not quite sure why they aren't, but that's okay. It might just be because there's so many snow layers around. I don't know, I'm gonna assume maybe they can't spawn on snow layers or something. But one thing to notice is, since I did make it a legacy single pool element, it did not replace this patch of packed ice that was here. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell because the structure is also made out of packed ice. But what used to be air here was replaced by a block of packed ice from this packed ice feature that's outside. So if I had just made it a regular single pool element, then all of the air that was in the structure would have replaced a square out of this little feature here. But I actually kind of like how this looks. I might actually leave this structure in. Alright, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about anything I covered in this video, or any suggestions for me for things you want me to cover in future videos, then you can let me know in the comments, or you can join my Discord server, and there's a link for that in the description. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I should leave this structure in my biome, or if I should make a new custom structure that's similar. I didn't spend too much time on making this. I basically just replaced all the blocks that existed in the original file with blocks that I thought kind of fit into the frost dimension. I'll be going into things like custom villages in the future, and thank you guys so much for 2 stacks of subscribers. At the moment of recording, I have exactly 128 subscribers, which is exactly 2 stacks. I really didn't think I would get this many subscribers so soon, and thank you guys so much for all the support and stuff I've gotten for this channel. I really appreciate every single one of you. I've said that at the end of the last few videos because I really do mean it. Thank you guys so much for watching.